Hello everyone, my name is Kamlesh Bhaskar. Okay, the next step is task 2. Configure hot standby redundancy protocol HSRP. This is the topology of task 2. Part 1 is trace the path to the web server from PCA. First, we have to go to the desktop of PCA and open the command prompt, and then I have to enter the command tracer 209.165.200.226, and we can see the trace has been completed. The next question, which devices are on the path from PCA to the web server? The answer is R1, R2, and I0. R2 trace the path to the web server from PCA, and we have to repeat the process in step 1. So we have to go to the desktop of PCD and open the command prompt and enter the command tracer 209.165.200.226, and we can see the trace has been completed. The next question, which devices are on the path from PCB to the web server? Answer is R3, R2, and I0. Okay. Next is part 3. Delete link between R3 and S3. We have to select tool from packet tracer toolbar and delete the link between R3 and S3. And this is the topology after we delete the link between R3 and S3. Next, we have to execute the tracer command with the web server as destination on PCB. First, okay, we have to enter the command, which is tracer 209.165.200.226, and we can see the trace has been completed. We can execute the tracer command. This question, compare the current output with the output of command from step 2, and the results are the tracer command cannot determine because the path has been broken. Next, connect S3 and R3 using copper straight 2. Click on S3 and select port gigabit Ethernet 0/2, and then click R3 and select gigabit Ethernet 0/0, and this is the topology after we have been connect S3 and R3. Next, we have to test the connection by pinging the web server. We have to open the web server and then ping 209.165.200.226. We can see the ping has been successful. Next is part 2. Configure HSRP active and standby routers. Configure HSRP on the G0/1 LAN interface of R1. We have to open CLI in R1 and enter the command enable configure terminal, and then enter the command interface G0/0. Then specify the HSRP protocol version number 2, and we have to enter the command standby version 2 in the CLI, and configure the IP address of the virtual default gateway. We have to enter the command standby 1 IP 192.168.1.254. Next, designate the active router for the HSRP group. We have to enter the command standby 1 priority 150. Then if it is desirable that the active router resume that role when it becomes available again, configure it to preempt the service of the standby router. You have to enter the command standby 1 preempt. Okay, next question. What will the HSRP priority of R3 be when it is added to HSRP group 1? And the answer is 100, which is the default value. Next is step 2. Configure HSRP on R3. We have to repeat the steps of 1B and 1C, which we have done before this. We have to open the CLI of R3 and then enter the command enable configure terminal, and then interface G0/0, and then send by version 2, then command send by 1 IP 192.168.1.254. Okay. Step 3, verify HSRP configuration by issuing the show standby. In command on R1 and R3, we have to open the both routers and enter the command show standby, and we can see the show standby command. Question, which router is the active router? Okay, the active router is R1. Then what is the MAC address for the virtual IP address? The MAC address for the virtual IP address is 000.0C9F.F001. Then the next question, what is the IP address and priority of the standby router? The answer is the IP address is 192.168.1.3 and the priority is 100. Next, use the show standby brief on router 1 and router 3 to view an HSRP status summary. So we have to enter the command show standby brief on both of the routers. Next, change default gateway address for PCA, PCB, S1 and S3. We have to change the default gateway address which is which we have to change to 192.168.1.254. We have to change in PCA, PCB, and then S1 and S2, S3. Next, the question: which address should you use? The address we use is 192.168.1.254. And the next question is: are the pings successful? Yes, the ping has been successful. This part 3, which is observe HSRP operation. Step 1, make the active router become unavailable. We have to open a command prompt on PCB and enter the command tracer 209.165.200.226. We can see the trace has been completed. The next question is, does the path differ from the path used different from the path used before HSRP was configured? Yes, the path now passes through R1 instead of R3. Next, step 2, break the link to R1. Delete the cable that reconnects R1 to S1. You have to select the delete tool from the packet tracer toolbar and delete the cable that connects R1 to S1. Next, we have to return to the PCB and execute the tracer 209.165.200.226, and we can see the trace has been completed. The next the question is, how was this trace different from the previous trace? At first, the answer is, at first the trace timed out. Eventually, the trace went through R3, R2 and INET. R3 was used as the first hop gateway in this trace instead of R1. Next, R3 standby router becomes active and is used as the default gateway for hosts on LAN 1 and LAN 2. Okay, we have to do open CLI of R3 and then we have to enter the command which shows standby and we can see the result. Okay, next is step 3, restore the link to router 1. We have to reconnect router 1 to switch 1. We have to reconnect the R1 to S1 with the copper straight 2 cable. And this is the topology after we have connected R1 and S1. Okay, next we have to execute the trace from PCB to the web server. We have to enter the command tracer 209.165.200.226 in PCB, and we can see the trace has been completed. Next, the question is, what path is used to reach the web server? At first, the trace has been failed. Eventually, it begins using R1 as the gateway again. The next question, if the preempt command was not configured for the HSRP group on R1, would the results have been the same? No, R1 would not become the gateway again because the path through R3 would continue to be used. That's all from me. Thank you. The next task will be continued by Bihar.